Tonight, we are learning more about the shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a gunman ended 21 lives. The first major investigation into the incident outlined systemic failures and what its authors call egregious poor decision-making. We now know nearly 400 officers responded to the shooting. The report concludes that law enforcement failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent victims over their own safety. Officials say that police never set up a command post and that avoidant leadership could have contributed to the loss of life because of the delay in action to take the gunman down. But it's not definitive about if lives would have been saved with a faster response. Victims' families are now reacting to that report. One girl's grandfather says Texas law enforcement and the Texas government failed the students. We have team coverage tonight on that 77-page report that details the 77 minutes before police finally confronted the shooter. ABC's Maria Villarreal, who's been with this story from the start, leads us off from Uvalde.
Tonight, a scathing new report revealing disturbing details surrounding the Uvalde school shooting. A Texas House Special Committee finding a series of systematic failures on every level, playing out on the day the gunman opened fire inside Robb Elementary, killing 19 children and 2 teachers. The 77-page preliminary report revealing that 376 law enforcement officers responded to the scene, the majority from federal and state agencies, stating law enforcement responders failed to adhere to their active shooter training and they failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent victims over their own safety. Surveillance video inside Robb Elementary capturing the 77-minute attack. The shooter walking inside, accessing room 111 through a door with a lock that had been broken for months. According to the report, the majority of the 142 total rounds fired inside the building occurred before any first responders even entered, including approximately 2.5 minutes during which the attacker is estimated to have fired over 100 rounds. Law enforcement positioning themselves outside the classroom, but the committee pointing out police never set up a command post, contributing to a breakdown in communication between federal, state, and local officers. School District Police Chief Pete Arredondo testifying within minutes of entering the building, they treated the shooter as a barricaded suspect, prioritizing getting children evacuated over approaching the attacker. My thought was, we're a barrier, get these kids out. At 12:52, officers breaching the room. The committee stating, given the information known about the victims who survived through the time of the breach and who later died on the way to the hospital, it is plausible that some victims could have survived if they had not had to wait 73 additional minutes for rescue. The report also examined school safety measures that failed, saying Robb Elementary was inadequately prepared for an active shooter. The school's alert system, Raptor, delayed due to Wi-Fi issues. And no one had locked any of the 3 exterior doors to the school's west building, giving the shooter unimpeded access. Had school personnel locked the doors as the school's policy required, that could have slowed the progress for a few precious minutes. A possible motive also revealed in the report. The shooter was a former student of Robb Elementary School and actually attended 4th grade inside room 111. His former teacher testifying he was bullied that year. The committee concluding the 18-year-old had no prior experience with firearms, and May 24th was likely the first time he fired a gun.
Several officers in the hallway or in that building knew or should have known there was dying in that classroom, and they should have done more, acted with urgency.
They believe this report to be the most complete telling to date. But after weeks of conflicting accounts from state officials, some families are skeptical.
Do you trust this investigation?
No. It started with lies from the beginning.
Today, they were given the chance to pick up copies of the report and view the video in full. Grace Valencia lost her nephew, Uzziah Garcia.
How are you feeling after watching that video?
Broken all over again, like it just happened. They get paid to protect, to serve, and they didn't do nothing.
Uzziah's father hoping the report leads to wider change.
Whatever I see in this report's not going to bring my son back, but we need to prevent it so somebody else won't lose their son, or their daughter, their kids.
Those grieving families say that this needs to be the last time this happens at a school. Maria Villarreal joins us now from Uvalde. And Maria, tell us about the officers who finally made the decision to confront the gunman and now what happens next.
We know, Lindsay, those officers are actually Border Patrol agents. They were given the go-ahead to breach the classroom door, not by Pete Arredondo, but in fact by their superiors out of Washington, D.C. So they walked right past everybody in the hallway. They moved forward and they shot that suspect after opening the door and catching him by a closet. What happens from here is still a little bit unknown. As of right now, no charges have been filed against anyone. We do know the district attorney is still reviewing this case as we speak. But there has been a little bit of fallout here in the city of Uvalde. At least one person has been put on leave, the acting police chief who was actually on site that day. But as of right now, we're still waiting to see how this continues to develop. Even more video expected to come out overnight. Lindsay?
Lots of revealing details in that report. Maria, thank you. The report cites several missed warning signs with the alleged gunman and for the first time gives us information about a possible motive. ABC's senior investigative reporter Aaron Katursky has been following this story from the beginning as well. What are you learning on that front, motive-wise?
Well, investigators say, Lindsay, that the gunman was driven by a desire for notoriety and fame, and he had a vague idea about a school shooting last year. Investigators determined he had been bullied at school and was an at-risk student, but the report said he received no special education services. And then this year, after a falling out with his mother, he started to plan. Online, he was nicknamed by others the school shooter. But investigators said none of his online behavior was ever reported to law enforcement. Once the attack began, the report identified a major error by law enforcement, the failure of any officers to assume and exercise effective incident command. But for all the missed signals and official failures, Lindsay, investigators could not say whether faster, more competent police action could have saved any lives.
And the fact that students had nicknamed him the school shooter ahead of time. Aaron Katursky, our thanks to you as always.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.